Hello honey bunnies and welcome to my channel. My name is Rosie and this is Running Rabbit Witchcraft. So today I thought that it'd be appropriate to give a little introduction to what I'm going to be trying to do with this channel, why I decided to create a YouTube channel, a little overview of my craft in general, and just, you know, a little get to know me session. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about me and what this channel is all about, keep watching. So, as I said before, this is just kind of an introductory video to this channel, and I think today I'm gonna start by apologizing, because as you can probably tell by my voice, I am a little under the weather. I have been struggling really hard with allergies this beautiful springtime. It's wonderful. I'm so glad it's spring because winter was wearing on me, but my allergies have turned into a cold, and I am on the mend. It's lovely, and no small thanks to witchcraft because it literally saved me so many times. But I am on the mend, so please excuse if I am drinking lots of water and sniffling. I have my hanky, so please excuse any general grossness. I apologize in advance. But today I just really wanted to get this done so I can get into creating content. And I know that I could just kind of jump in and start just making videos, making the videos that I want to make, but I feel like this is important to understanding those videos. I feel like, you know, it's kind of weird to just jump into a conversation without introducing yourself, or like just with no context. I feel like this will give a little bit of context into my insight and just where I'm coming from. So first off, I'm gonna talk about what I'm gonna try to do with this channel. So, you know, I'm not really in this. I'm not really trying to do this for any kind of like monetary gain, or like, you know, I don't really care about that. I mean, I am doing this because I have always loved the YouTube community. I think that the YouTube Witchy community especially is just a wonderful place full of positivity and amazing people with really deep insight, and I've always, it's kind of where I've always gone to for support and for, you know, just love when I'm feeling down. I can always find it here. So really, honestly, I'm gonna start with a thank you. Thank you so much to all of you out there. Ember HoneyRaven, Arwen Lynch, you two really were the beginning of it all for me. Sacred, I think her name is Sacred Seed. I've watched a few of her videos, but she is a wonderful human being. She was one of the first to. Shadow Harvest, she's a wonderful YouTuber, and if you haven't seen or any videos from any of these YouTubers, go check them out immediately. Like, go. In fact, I'll probably link a few channels that really inspired me down in the description box. So if you're interested in any of the channels that I'm talking about, go look at them. They are wonderful, amazing witches with so much knowledge to give. Molly Roberts, Owlvine Green. Let's see, there was oh, there's so many, and I'll just put like a whole list probably down in the description. So this is pretty much just a thank you to you guys. Thank you for being so positive and influence on me. Thank you for being there for me, even if you didn't realize it, you know. You were all such wonderful lights, wonderful guiding lights in dark times in my life. So I have a lot to thank you for. But what I'm gonna try to do with this channel is I really want to just like, I want to try to chronicle my own personal growth as a witch, as a practitioner, and like just within my religion, and within like just within my practice. I want to chronicle that growth, and I feel like starting a YouTube channel is a great way for me to do that because I'm a very visual learner. I'm very auditory. I'm very visual. I like to see and hear, as well as read information. But so I feel like this will be kind of a good visual slash like online slash auditory grimoire kind of thing, journal for me. But also I kind of feel a responsibility to the younger witches out there who feel alone, who feel weird, who feel like there's really no one out there. And I feel like the more witches there are out there making content and being unapologetically themselves, the better. So why not? Why not be one of those witches? Why not try to have the kind of positive impact that a lot of other witches in the YouTube community have had on me, on another person, if that made sense. I just, you know, I'm trying to just, you know, be a positive influence, show people that they're not alone. I also live in a fairly, we'll say, conservative area. I live in the buckle of the Bible Belt. And it's hard to find community. Even in the two largest cities in my state, there are very few pagan groups that I feel like really connected to. And I mean, that's not to say anything against those groups. It's just that, like, for me, I'm a little socially awkward. And go outside. Go outside. Sorry, dogs. They were about to start barking. Barking dogs, love them. What was I saying? Oh, I'm a little socially awkward, and the groups around me that are closest to me are an hour away, 2 hours away, and they're small groups. They're already like tightly knit, and I feel like an intruder almost. So while I'm trying to get over that fear, you know, I'm sure that they're lovely people and so welcoming, but like anxiety, we love it. So while I'm trying to get over that hump, I figured I'd get over another one, a baby step, if you will, into the community, or rather a massive leap into the community. I figured I'd just launch myself out onto YouTube. Join that part of the community, that aspect of the community. You know, why not? So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this channel. I'm trying to like chronicle my own path, be more active in the community, and I'm also trying to make myself more spiritually active. I love my spirituality, but I have a bad habit of falling on the wayside. I have a bad habit of letting life get in the way of my spiritual practice, and I don't like that. I don't like the idea that something that is so integral to my identity, something that I value and that I love so much, is something that I can just put away. And that's not something that I want to do. So I feel like by making this commitment to starting a YouTube channel and by making this commitment to putting out regular content, it'll be a good kind of catalyst for me forming a more regular spiritual practice. At least that's what I'm hoping. Keep your fingers crossed for me. So with that out of the way, maybe I think it's time to, you can tell that I'm new at this. I have minimal notes because this was a spur of the moment decision, this video. But anyway, I think now I'm going to talk about how I kind of came to the craft and like my spiritual journey in general, just kind of, and I'll go into this stuff in more detail later on, I'm sure, but right now I figure I'll just give like a brief, it's been 9 minutes already. This is me, I ramble a lot, but I figured I'll give a relatively brief overview of my spiritual path. So, as I said before, I live in a very conservative area. I live in Oklahoma, which for those of you out there in other countries besides America, that is a state in the middle of America. You probably haven't heard of it. It's okay. A lot of people in America haven't heard of it. But I live in Oklahoma in a tiny little town. I'm not going to share what town that is because I feel like that's not safe. You know, cyber safety, kiddos. But I live in a tiny little town in a very conservative, traditional Christian state. And from the time I was 6 months old to the time I was in 3rd grade, I'd say. From the time I was 6 months old to the time I was in 3rd grade, I went pretty much every Sunday to a very traditional Baptist church. And let me tell you, boys and girls, that got me good. I'm queer, I'm bisexual, I am a woman, I'm a lot of things that the Christian church and the Protestant, especially the Protestant section of the Christian church, does not particularly like. Even more now that I am not a Christian. But I was raised on fire and brimstone. I was raised on hatred, and I was raised on bigotry. And I'm not trying to say that Christians are all hate-filled and bigots and yeah, but that was my experience with Christianity for the first 10 years of my life. And it really affected me negatively. I never felt spiritually fulfilled. I never felt safe. And I was filled with self-hatred. But as I got older, I drifted away from the church, and honestly, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. We left the church that we were going to, this very traditional Baptist church, because of some problems. We won't go into that. Just with church politics and everything. That's a whole different discussion. But we left that church when I was in 3rd grade, so I would have been about 8, maybe 9. And we started going to another church, which was a Southern Baptist church, whereas the first church I was going to was a First Free Will Baptist church. Sorry, shiny things. I'm distracted. But the Southern Baptists are slightly more relaxed in my experience. I'm no expert, but this is just my personal experience. So that was kind of when I started thinking, maybe if this is like the disparity between 2 churches in the same community, maybe the Christian church and Christianity in general is not quite so set in stone as I was led to believe, and that's where the doubt started. And really, that's where the healing started, because I drifted away from the church, and I did just that. I drifted for a while, until I was about 12. So for a good 4 years there, I kind of drifted. I went to church with my mom, but I didn't really believe, and it was kind of whatever. I was growing, I was changing. It was a weird time in my life, but it didn't really matter to me then because I wasn't really searching for that spiritual fulfillment at that point. But as I got older and I started kind of asking those bigger questions, I I started looking into religions, like specifically like belief systems other than Christianity, because I knew myself well enough by that point to know that I, as a person, I need a belief system. I need something tangible to hold on to, and that's just who I am. I am a believer. I believe in a higher power, and I believe in the power of, I believe that there is something higher than us. Maybe not like higher as in a hierarchy, but I believe that there is something more powerful, something greater than. This sounds very like pretentious, and I don't mean it to sound like that, but I mean, I believe in a greater power. I believe in something beyond what we can physically perceive. You get me. I believe in divinity. That's pretty much it. And I started looking, and I looked at Buddhism, I looked at Taoism, I looked at all kinds of different, I looked at Hinduism, I looked at all kinds of different religions, specifically like Eastern religions, because I'd always been really drawn to that. I was always a kid who loved like folklore, and I just loved myths and legends from that area, so I was like, well, I'll look into that, and I never really clicked with anything like that, because, it just didn't work for me. And then I found Wicca. Now, I was about, let's see, this would have been like 7th grade, so I'd have been 11 or 12, maybe, no, I would have been 11 or 12. And I started delving in. I started looking at like WikiHows, and I started looking at like the basic, like the Wikipedia page, and what's interesting is that like one of the first places that I actually went to when searching for information was YouTube. So I kind of find that like an interesting little parallel there, that I first went to YouTube and I was like, witchcraft, and that's where it kind of all started, and it's always been there for me since. So, interesting. I love that aspect of that, like it carries over. It's just always been kind of a home for me. But like I said, I started looking into Wicca and witchcraft related paths, but like at that point I only knew about Wicca because I was 11, and that was really the only thing. I didn't know how to research. I didn't know how to look into anything else. So I started looking at Wicca, and I started kind of practicing Wicca. But as you tend to do when you're 11 and raised in a religious community, I got scared because witchcraft and fire and brimstone and like it was scary, and I was young, and I was dealing with some mental illness that I had never had to deal with before. Like this was when my mental illness was really, my depression and anxiety really started manifesting and showing itself like severely, and this was also when I started realizing that I wasn't straight. I'd always known that there was something weird about me. I'd always known that there were, I'm sorry, this smells really good. Awesome. I love this. I got new incense. I'm sorry. I'm just, back to the topic. I'd always known there was something weird about me, and I kind of started to realize I had my first crush at about this time, and I kind of put away those big philosophical questions of, is there a God? Is there a higher power? Does witchcraft exist? Am I a witch? Can I be a witch? Is that, like, I put away all those questions in favor of surviving the moment and surviving middle school, because we all know what a terror that was for all of us. But out of like survival instinct, I had to put those questions away, and I called myself an atheist, and I convinced myself I was an atheist until my freshman year. So finally freshman year rolls around, and it's the last half of freshman year. In fact, I remember the day that I realized that I was a witch. It was Easter Sunday of 2016, and I was sitting in church. I was dressed all in black. It was a really cute little dress. I was dressed in black. I had black hair, and I had a red flower crown headband, and it had these roses on it, and I was feeling just very powerful, and I was wearing these rings, these, hi Junie, I have dogs. They wander around. They like to look out the window, which I am beside. Please excuse them. But I just felt very powerful, and all of a sudden, just in the middle of the sermon, while I was kind of trying to think, what is this feeling? Like, why am I feeling like this? What do I feel like? The word witch popped into my head, and I am fully of the belief that that was my first experience with divinity, like true experience as I experience divinity and the divine now. The word witch popped into my brain, and I smiled, a real smile, and I felt whole for the first time. I felt spiritually whole for the first time ever. I had never felt so safe. I had never felt so cared for, and that really is what launched me on the oh God, okay, hold on. It was Easter. It's almost Easter now, so freshman to sophomore, sophomore to junior, junior to, okay, three. I am so good at math. That's what really launched me on this 3-year journey to get to the point that I'm at now. I say that like it's been so long, but really, I'm still a baby, and I still have a lot to learn, and I am so excited about that. I'm excited by that, and I love the idea that I will never stop learning. I'll never stop having books to read, and paths to trace, and like places to go in my own brain and in this world. But that was what started it, and I started off as a Wiccan. I started practicing Wicca, and I still remember my first ever altar was in a box. Like it was bigger than a shoebox. It was like a wooden box, and not a little bit bigger than a shoebox. And I had it in the corner of my room, kind of tucked behind / beside like my dresser, so that it was hidden when you open the door. But it wasn't exactly like hidden, because I'm not, that's kind of a sketchy bitch. Like, you know what? I was scared, but you know what? I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me. But so I had my little box altar, and I had these, I still actually have them. I'll have to go get them out for you sometime and show you, but I had these 2 little clay figurines, one of the goddess and one of the god, and they were made with white air dry clay and wire, like gold wire, and I wrapped wire. They were really beautiful, and I love them a lot, and I kind of want to recreate them because they broke, but I still love them. But as I was saying, like I had this box, and it had my altar cloths, and it had my athame, which was like a sock knife that I'd gotten at a Scottish festival when I was in 6th grade. And it had candles, like tea lights and taper candles and incense and like all the little things that I had for witchcraft, and I had it all bundled into a corner in my room, and in the middle of the night I would get it out, and these memories are so fond to me. And even though like I was so confused about my path back then, and okay, I need to move this because I'm killing myself with incense smoke. Even though it smells really good, it's murdering me. I have such fond memories of the rituals that I did and of the books that I kept at that time. And I'm so mad at myself because even up until like oh God, was that 2 years ago? Oh fuck, I don't remember. But even up until recently, like I had the habit of when I got upset or like doubted my path, I would rip up my books and I would throw them away. And I cannot even imagine. I want to see those books. I miss them. But I threw them away like a dummy. So don't do that. If you're new to this, keep your books. For the God's sake, keep them. You will want them later. I don't care if you're doubting. I don't care if you're scared. Try to keep them as much as you can, because you will want them later, and you'll want to look back on how far you've come, because you'll have fond memories. And I just remember like the books that I kept, and I was like, do I need to consecrate this? What even is consecration? Like, how do I cast a circle? Do I want to cast a circle? Do I have to? Like, and I just had so many questions, and I went through the stages of being like, oh, I am an Alexandrian. No, I'm a Gardnerian. No, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this and this and this. No, I'm this. And then I finally was like, okay, eclectic Wiccan, whatever, cool. And that worked for a while. I was happy with that. But then as I got older and as I started studying more and researching and actually gaining the skills I needed to research, I was like, maybe not Wiccan at all. Like, maybe just pagan. And then there were some times where I was like, maybe I'm an atheist again, but still practice witchcraft. Maybe I'm agnostic. Maybe. And finally, I settled on the general term pagan witch, because that is me. That is all that is all the label that I can handle right now. And I love that, because witchcraft isn't about the labels. It's not about the, like, it's not about the names. And I don't care what kind of witch I am. Like, I'm a witch and I do what I want. That's part of witchcraft. Like, I get to do whatever I want, and that's just really cool to me, first of all. But like, I finally settled on the fact that like, I'm gonna study whatever I want, and I'm gonna take bits and pieces and piece them together to make my craft, as long as I'm not appropriating from other people's cultures in a way that like, in any way, like, I'm cool with it, you know, because I am part Native American, and I know, I'm pretty white, trust me. I acknowledge that. It's cool. I am part Native American though, and I understand how hurtful it can be to see something that you love, and a piece of your culture, and a piece of your history, and a piece of your family and your ancestors be disrespected and laughed at or used incorrectly. It's just, it feels heartbreaking. It feels like a piece of you has been ripped out and thrown away for what? For what? For another person's pleasure. And that's so, I would never want to make another person feel like that. So cultural appropriation is one thing that I will never abide in my craft. And that, honestly, not saying anything against Wiccans, but like, that was a lot of what drove me away from Wicca. There is a ton of cultural appropriation just in like the community. I mean, in the witchcraft community in general, there's a ton of cultural appropriation, but Wicca, I feel like, is pretty notorious about it. And that is not something I can abide by. I just can't stand it. It makes my skin crawl. Because even though I am white passing, I'm white coded, but I'm Native American, and I understand what it feels like. I am part Native American, and I understand what it feels like to have a piece of you stolen for another person's pleasure. And I understand what it feels like to feel just that feeling. It's hard to explain unless you've experienced it, but that feeling of just being like, that's not correct. You don't even know what you're talking about, and you're trying to be an authority on it, and it's like, no, like, absolutely not. It just feels wrong. It just feels completely wrong, and I never, ever, ever want to be, I never, ever, ever want to make another person feel that way. So, that's my soapbox. I'm gonna step down now, but it's almost been 30 minutes, and if you've stuck around this long, thank you. Hello, I love you. But yeah, that's pretty much me. That's where I am now, and I will definitely go into more detail about my personal path and everything later on, but I think right now it's time to bring this video to a close. Yeah, but that's me. So if you're interested in what I have to offer, if you feel like this story resonates with you, my story resonates with you, and you want to, you know more about anything that I have to offer, drop a comment, request a video, ask a question, anything, like, I'm here for it. Talk to me. I want friends. Be my friend. But yeah, I love you, and you're wonderful, every single one of you. If you made it this far, thank you. If you didn't, it's totally cool. I get it. I talk a lot. But please, go look at the other videos on my channel. I know that when I post this, there won't be a ton other. Hopefully, I'm hoping to put up 3 my first time and then post like 1 a week, at least. But the first time I want there to be at least a few, just to give people something to like know me. But yeah, that's the plan, at least. So if you're interested in my story, if you're interested in my craft, if you're interested in just getting to know me better and my perspective a little better, definitely click to my channel. Watch a few other of my videos, like, subscribe, comment. Please comment. I want to talk to you. I love talking to people. I love talking, obviously. But yeah, I'll see you again soon, lovelies. Bye.